Hey everyone, today I want to tell you about 9 items that I'm really glad I brought with me to the hospital when I had Penny. So looking back, I way overpacked in my hospital bag, which, I am a first-time parent, a new mom, so I couldn't have really known. But these are the items that I'm really glad that I brought with me. So here they are, the 9 things that I packed that I was so glad I had at the hospital. The first thing is a phone charger or 2 phone chargers. So one thing that is kind of mind-blowing to me is that I had Penny right before COVID, and so at one point in my hospital room, it was my husband and one of his friends, because he went to the hospital to pick up my mom and my in-laws. And just thinking about how many people I was allowed to have in my room is just kind of crazy. So if you're gonna have more than one person with you, if you're allowed to, or even just one partner, it's nice to have maybe 2 cell phone chargers, just because you're in there and you might have a lot of family and friend texting, which, by the way, don't feel obligated to text everybody back immediately. They understand you just had a baby, but your phone might be a little bit more busy than it normally is, and so your battery might die sooner. So you definitely want to make sure you have 1 or maybe 2 phone chargers with you in your hospital bag. A side note, not related to that, sort of related, I guess, but it was one of my husband's best friends, and he brought our parents from the airport, and then he was like, "Do you want anything to eat?" And I was like, "Yes, I do." So he brought me a sandwich from Arby's, fries, and a Diet Coke, and it was my first meal after I gave birth, and it was like one of the best meals of my life. So life-changing. Leave in the comments below what your first meal after birth was, because I want to hear, and I bet you haven't forgotten it either, because it is just like that amazing. So good. Unrelated, but so good. Item number 2, shower shoes. So you can go to Old Navy or wherever and just get them for like a couple of bucks, but just having those plastic shoes when you take a shower in the hospital is, I don't know, it's like, I like to just, if I'm in a public shower, to use shower shoes. And the other thing that I didn't know was gonna happen, but not just in my recovery room did I shower, but when I first checked in before like the labor process started, before I got my epidural, all of that, they had me shower too. So I didn't know that was gonna happen. So few showers in the hospital. I'm really glad that I brought those plastic shoes. Item number 3 is your toothbrush. So at some point you're probably going to be like, what time is it? What day is it? And when did I brush my teeth last? And that is okay. Don't even worry about it. But in that moment, you're probably gonna be like, I think now would be a good time for me to do that. So I'm sure if you forget it, it's not gonna be the end of the world. I bet a nurse could give you a toothbrush, but having one in your bag is definitely a good idea. Speaking of the nurses, I think it would be nice to bring candy or bagels or donuts or a gift, or write a letter of appreciation to them, just anything. We had Penny in October, so we brought them a bunch of like snacks and Halloween candy, and they seemed to appreciate it. They were kind of like all splitting it up and eating it, which made me feel good. I'm sure they get like a ton of candy, so I was like, maybe I should have brought bagels. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but everyone says it's like the thing you hear from everybody, that the nurses do all the work, but literally the nurses do all the work. And I guess it's because like I didn't watch a birth video or anything before I had her, and I didn't really know what to expect, but literally, truly, I pushed for 2 hours and the nurses were just there the entire time telling me what to do and how to breathe. And in that moment, I remember thinking like, what if they have to go to the bathroom or like check their phone? But they couldn't, because I was there giving birth, And so I just was really amazed by their profession, and just, they're incredible. And really, truly, at the very end of those 2 hours of pushing was when they were like, all right, yeah, the doctor and everyone else can come in, and they come rushing in. And I think I counted at one point like 13 or 14 people in the room, because it's just like everybody comes in the end. But the nurses work so hard. So I definitely recommend bringing them a small gift or a token of your appreciation. Next item is a pillow and a blanket for your partner or whoever might be there staying with you. So we don't have any pets, and we didn't have any kids before Penny, so Zach was able to stay with me at the hospital the entire time. And so they had like a little like couch bench type situation where he could sleep. And so him bringing a pillow and a blanket was really useful. So I will say, like, the whole idea of like bringing a pillow into a hospital and putting it on a couch where maybe other people have been before, just like kind of like, I wouldn't want to necessarily put that pillow back in my own bed, but I know that you can go to Target or Walmart and get a pillow for like $5. So I recommend maybe getting one that might not make its way back into your own bed, but would be a good hospital pillow. So that, and a blanket that you can wash, maybe one that is not like a super meaningful one. I don't know if anyone ever like knit you anything or crocheted anything for you, but just like a plain blanket and a pillow, bring those with you to the hospital. Also bring a sweatshirt. My husband wore his sweatshirt the entire time, even though it was so hot outside. The hospitals are just freezing. So just make sure that you are warm enough. Bring a sweatshirt, bring sweatpants, and make sure you also have socks so that you're nice and warm and comfy while you're there. Number 7, bring a nightgown. So I got a nightgown with a zipper front because everyone was like, okay, if you're gonna try to breastfeed, you want easy access and something that's not like super complicated. So I got this black nightgown at Walmart. I think it was on clearance for like $7 or something. But anyway, even though breastfeeding didn't work out for me, or even if you know that you are going to not plan to breastfeed, like you know from the beginning that you're going to formula feed, I still recommend a zipper nightgown because they encourage a lot of skin to skin contact for the first few days, weeks. And so it's really easy to do that when you have a zipper nightgown. And actually one of my favorite pictures of Penny and I in the hospital, she had like these huge chunky cheeks when she was born. And so it's this picture of her like snuggled up in my nightgown and her cheek is like overflowing over the side of my nightgown. So I definitely recommend some type of like zipper nightgown, pajama, shirt, bathrobe type of situation, something that's comfortable and easy to open and close. Item 8 is maternity clothes. So I'm not saying that I thought I was gonna like walk out of there in my old pre-baby jeans. Are people wearing jeans anymore, by the way? I don't think I've put jeans on in months, but anyway, regardless, doesn't matter. This right here is a picture of me when I got home. I was 3 days postpartum and everybody told me that you still look pregnant for a while and it takes the swelling a while to go down, which is true, and it totally does, and it's all normal, but I don't think I could have fit into even just like leggings, which are comfortable, if they weren't maternity when I left. So I'm glad that I had maternity leggings and t-shirts and sweatshirts and just like really baggy, loose clothes. Maternity clothing, just bringing that is great because you just go home and you're comfortable, and that's the way to go. And the last item is a bag of snacks for your room. So of course, somebody who's with you could go pick you up food, or, you know, I'm sure a nurse, I mean, the nurses did bring me food and snacks and things like that, but I also felt just like between nurses and doctors checking on me and giving me medicine and making sure I was okay and examining me, and the doctors and nurses doing the same thing for Penny, like there were people in our room all the time. And just like, if it were quiet for a moment, sometimes you're like, I just don't want to call anybody and ask for anything, and just being able to reach over and get like a granola bar or something, you know, was just nice. So granola bar, fruit snacks, peanut butter crackers, whatever, put some things in your bag just so that you have them. So there you have it, the 9 things that I'm really glad that I had with me in my hospital bag. I will say, as I mentioned before, I way overpacked, but you know what? If overpacking or just bringing everything that you need is going to give you peace of mind, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, yes, it takes a lot to get out to the car and you're like, oh my gosh, I need to get to the car and there's another person with me now, and you're trying to figure out the car seat stuff and all of that. I mean, it's going to be installed. I just mean like putting your baby in your car seat for the first time was like, I remember being like, oh, there's like a person in this now instead of like a doll or a stuffed animal or something. So it is a process leaving the hospital. But that being said, if bringing you extra items is what gives you peace of mind, I say do it. You know what? You got to do what's best for you. So I hope that this list was helpful. And if there's anything that I have forgotten that you think is a good idea, leave it in the comments below. I always like to see what other people think about those things. And if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and I will see you next time.